everybody, welcome to another DCEU episode of Games Found by My Mom. As always, I'm your host, Michael Kryptonite Hughes, and who are my other super friends here with me this morning?
I guess I'll go. Children. I work with children.
The order's wrong.
Michael
Oh, this is crazy.
So live from the movie.
Jesus.
Well, I didn't hear it because I was busy cackling.
Children. I work with children.
And Bill Tucker. I honestly couldn't pull a good quote from there. There's so many good quotes in this movie. I couldn't pick one, so I'll just leave it at that.
There are a lot of good
What's
quotes.
your superpower? I'm rich. Okay.
That's actually a good one, too. I should have just picked that.
So as you guys may have guessed from the title of the episode, we're talking about 2017's Justice League. It's all been leading up to this.
Yeah, we've been in the midst of, I think, what, three? Are we three or
This
four?
is the third movie of
This
the
is the
DC.
third. Okay. Yeah, so we've been leading up to this, and
Wait, no, this might be
This is the
fourth.
fifth. No, this is the fifth. There's Man of Steel, BVS, Suicide Squad, Wonder Woman, and then Justice League.
Wonder Woman
I
came
always
out after this, didn't it?
Not according to Wikipedia.
all right. Well, I always forget Suicide Squad was a thing. I did see that, and it was a movie that
I
exists.
think most people are trying to forget Suicide Squad was a thing.
Mhm.
To
Sure.
the point where
Right.
they're just rebooting it already. Like, that didn't happen. We're going to do it
You
right
spend
this
your
time.
entire budget to have a Queen song in the trailer. You just don't pay. You know.
That'll do it. That'll do it.
But who's directing the new one? It's someone exciting. James Gunn. That's right.
Oh, really?
So,
Okay,
yeah,
I could trust
got
him with
higher
that
hopes.
material.
Higher hopes for that one.
Okay.
This movie
yeah.
that we're talking about today was directed by two people.
Yes.
Yeah.
The 1-2 punch of Zack Snyder and Joss Whedon. But this is actually interesting, and we'll talk about this as we kind of move forward a bit. Like the other DCU movies we've covered so far, this has a very authorial tone, directorial tone. Problem is, there's two of them, and they don't quite mesh at all. As the story goes, Zack Snyder, of course, was in charge of directing this film. His daughter dies from suicide. So because of that, he decides to step down, and Joss Whedon takes over the balance of the photography and the editing and the creation of this movie. If you didn't know that, now you feel like an asshole.
I did not know
Zack
that.
Snyder. Oh yes,
I still can't get over how I was wrong, and this is the fifth movie in the DC universe. You think I would have known that after we recorded 4 other ones? You know, weird.
I mean, let's counting's for nerds. So come on.
Yeah,
let's be
well,
honest.
yeah.
We're too cool for that.
DC
But
doesn't
yes.
have to count.
So I spent a
They're
good
sure
amount
not
of
counting box office budget, that's for sure.
time. This movie cost $300 million to make. I would like to know who stole half of that and where it got
$50 went
embezzled.
into the CGI budget.
What's that?
$50 went into the CGI budget.
About that, that's right. I have a green screen that's actually in my closet that I use for basic photography. I can lend them if they want. Yeah, I just want to know who embezzled that money, like where it went. Well, I really hope it went to getting like a library or something.
We're like 2 weeks off of Joss Whedon being thrown under the bus by every actor that was on Buffy, so I wouldn't be surprised
People
if
hear
it was
this.
him. I mean, as of this recording.
That was a
As
month
this-
ago. What you're talking about right now? So
Hey, this one's
Yeah.
coming out a lot sooner than the other stuff we record together. So.
I know.
So I just with the so I do want to put in a little Zack Snyder disclaimer because I did spend a good amount of time shitting on him last night before I read that factoid, and now I feel a lot really bad about that. But we have to judge this movie on the merits of it as a movie, as a piece of art that's separated from the actual artist who created it. I think it's heartbreaking that he had to step away, and this makes sense why he wants to come back and do the Snyder Cut. Just so you guys know. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I'm also pretty sure that the other reason he stepped away was not voluntarily.
Well, I read conflicting things, yeah.
Was yes, you know, his daughter had passed away and all that happened, but also it sounds like they were going to get rid of him anyway because it wasn't fitting the vision that they wanted. And after BVS didn't do good in theaters, they were really worried because to them they're like, we have Batman, Superman in the movie, it should make millions, period, and it didn't do good. So they were not happy. So I think that part played a little bit of what happened too in this with him leaking.
Yeah, that might be, and that would make sense too. Again, I read conflicting things on that in the 5 minutes of research I did. Like, I didn't do any exhaustive journalistic digging on this, but yeah, no, it's really sad, right? Sad circumstances. It makes sense now that he wants to come out and do the Snyder Cut. For everyone listening, you're going to hear this after the Snyder Cut's released. This is not about the Snyder Cut. This is the original. If someone wants to lend us a collective $100 so we can get HBO Max to then watch the Snyder Cut, If you just want to pool some resources and pay for us to get a month of HBO Max, or just give us some credentials, maybe then. Yeah. But other than that, that's not happening.
Mike's neck deep in Big Bang Theory, and I piggybacked on my brother's account, so we just need $15 for Bill.
There we go. Okay, perfect. So they just scrounge up. Everyone go into your account. The change doesn't exist anymore. Damn it! Just get a Venmo together. And
just either.
What's that?
I don't have a Patreon yet. I should make one of these days.
We'll set up a GoFundMe, make Bill watch the 4-hour Snyder cut of Justice League.
The stretch goal of your Patreon is we watch the Snyder cut.
I might have to do that now.
We've talked about putting bad games and bad movies on there before, so they would fit right in.
Stretch
goals. Like, give us $50, we'll play the shitty game. Who wants?
We'll play Alone in the Dark 2008.
We're gonna play that.
Fine.
Oh god, it's so bad.
All right, I don't know if I can keep going on with this skit anymore.
With the I have no idea what you're talking about.
April Fools. We are not covering. This is our first DC movie. We normally cover the MCU. We decided that we should do something stupid for April Fools, and someone suggested.
Yeah, like we decided all this. That's right. It was a group effort.
Yes.
I would have picked Aquaman if we were going to pick one of the good movies.
Well, I think one of the suggestions was for us to pretend we like this movie, and none of us are liars like that. So we actually have scruples. So
that. I kind of like this movie, which we'll get into. But
okay. I mean, look, there's a good movie hidden here. It's hidden in this rubble. This kind of like weird misformed transformer that WB forced these people to make.
You need the extra 2 hours to piece it all together, I think.
I can't watch 2 hours of this. If I'm no. Okay, very quickly. If I'm going to spend 4 hours watching a Zack Snyder cut, a director I don't like, who I've enjoyed nothing he's ever done, I need to watch the last Lord of the Rings first. I need to dedicate 4 hours to that and watch something good.
What else has he done?
He did, well, other than, of course, the Batman v Superman, he did Sucker Punch, which is a dumpster fire of disaster.
Oh, yeah. I think we've talked about that on the show before.
Yeah, I should like that movie, but, oh, God, nope. I couldn't even finish it.
It's the one I not famously, but I talked about it last time we mentioned Zack Snyder, and this was, I saw it in New York. And I saw it opening weekend with on an IMAX theater with a bunch of comic book fans. And the theater was full of comic book fans. Not to be stereotypical, but they were comic book fans, right? They had the shirts on and the thing and everything else. No one was smiling as we left. No one. No one was cheering.
He wrote, directed, and produced that movie.
Yeah, it's a piece of garbage. And exactly, he wrote, directed, and I wrote a review on it the next day because I was writing film reviews at the time. One of my bylines was, "This is as if someone gave a horny 13-year-old boy $150 million and said, make a movie." That's what this movie is. So he first directed, he did Dawn of the Dead in 2014. He also did 300. That was his first one. First major movie that got him acclaim that he directed. It was 300. I like 300. It's very stylized. If you know that, now you realize, oh yeah, that's a Zack Snyder joint. You can tell. He did Watchmen, which I never saw.
So he had experience with these super serious, brooding superhero movies.
Yes, exactly. And then of course he directed Sucker Punch, then Man of Steel, and then Batman v Superman, and then of course Justice League. None of those are good. None of those are really good, as you can see. So that's Zack Snyder. Sorry about the loss of your daughter, but man, you are not a person that makes the kind of art I like to enjoy.
Well, Sucker Punch, if I remember right, they're in an insane asylum, and all the cool action is just them going, she's just going crazy, and I'm not okay with that.
Club, and whenever she dances, it makes people see things or something. Right. Or she sees things while she dances.
Right, because horny. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's why.
Checks out.
It's bad. It should be something like, okay, this is at least I was excited to watch it when I first did, because I'm like, okay, this will be something up, and I was just like, I can't do it. I didn't even finish it. I just turned it off and never went back to it ever.
Yeah, so from the production of this, famously, this was a $300 million budget movie. It lost money. Evidently, according to reports, Warner Brothers lost about $60 million from this movie. It did not make back its budget.
Wikipedia says in the box office it made $657.9 million.
Yeah, but that's not they have to make about 2 or 3 times their budget to really be profitable.
Okay.
Well, yeah, because you guys also just the budget of the film was $300 million plus. I think you have to factor in like 1.25 for advertising, for all the other things you have to do to make a movie happen. Yeah, I think it made money at the box office, I guess, but they evidently lost. In the end of the day, they lost a chunk of change. So Zack Snyder did all the principal photography, so all the shooting was done before he left to deal with his personal issues, or left because Warner Brothers said, "Screw off, we don't like you anymore." Joss Whedon came in to do mop-up duty, post-production, and like brightening the movie. What? Adding some humor? What? What? I can't imagine this movie with like less humor and more dark. It doesn't, like, God.
You get to find out.
Yeah, I haven't seen Batman v Superman. I have literally no interest.
Yeah, that's another thing we should mention since we're peeking behind the curtain is I haven't seen any other DCU movies other than this one twice now in the last 2 days, and then Shazam after this. Oh, and Aquaman, but that doesn't count because it's boring. Despite what Mike's about to say.
I saw Aquaman once. I really, really loved it. I need to watch it again, but yeah, this movie's just blah.
Yeah, I mean, and just from my history. Oh, so go ahead.
Okay, one of my problems with this movie, because we're writing this episode differently, is I like some of these characters a lot. I'm a big fan of Flash. Flash in this movie is a dumb fuck, and I don't like it at all. It makes me upset that they took a great character that we had 5 or 6 seasons of so far with Grant Gustin just playing an amazing Flash, and we just throw Ezra Miller and say, you know what, the direction is you're going to play stupid. Okay, you're going to be really smart, but you're going to be stupid. You got that? But I got powers, yes, and your power is tripping. Yeah. Like, what? Okay.
It's Joss Whedon's writing mixed with Super Smash Brothers Brawl.
That's pretty good.
So, dumb lines and tripping.
It's a very
costume
time.
Yeah, there's a point where they even like lampshade it later on. It's like you're tripping over your own feet and mine.
Right. Yeah. These, and Mike, you hit it right on the head. These actors, all of them, are not directed. No one's directing these actors, and that's the problem with Zack Snyder is he doesn't know how to direct actors. He knows how to make cool things flash on the screen that are very distracting and hurt your eyes because they're garishly colored and kind of gross and ugly to look at, but they're dazzling. He knows how to dazzle. Dazzle.
Just
hands. He doesn't know how to work with actors. Like, he doesn't understand that actors need motivations and need direction. So you're right. He sat Ezra down and said, all right, you're the Flash. Ezra said famously, like, hey, what's my motivation? And he said, oh, you're the Flash. You're the fast guy.
Read the script. Weird. It's in the script.
It's in the script. It's all there. And actors, of course, need to be directed. They need to know what their motivation is. We shoot these things out of sequence, and imagine just being plopped into a scene. Act. They need to know what direction they're approaching the scene from. Like, what's my motivation? Where am I in this? And he said, near nowhere. You're just a fast guy, and you're gonna be weird. Just be good. Just be you. Just be you. Be weird. Be quirky. Be dorky. But be strong. But be fast. But be dorky.
There's other comic book movies do it, so we can do it too.
Yeah, but it's called writing and directing. Like, you have to direct these people. You have to get out the chalkboard and like sketch out who these characters are, and not just say fast man, strong man, cyborg man. Like,
there's also a key scene that's not in this movie. There's a lot of scenes that are deleted out of this movie, but one scene that, like, if you guys are confused how Batman knows about Aquaman and Flash and Cyborg, because he found a little camera on Lex Luthor's computer in the first movie in Dawn of Justice that showed him that these people existed.
Weird.
That's why he's looking for them.
They reference the notebook throughout this.
Yeah.
Lex's notes. So I kind of pieced together, like, you go into this movie and they definitely have expected you have seen the other ones, unlike the MCU where a lot of them are standalone, or they'll recap you on things that have happened in previous movies. This one's just like talking about Lex Luthor's creature and the notes and just all this other shit. There's like, okay, I need to stop and look this up apparently because I don't know what the hell's going on.
Lex Luthor's creature is Doomsday.
Yeah,
you're going, what the fuck?
Figured that.
That's what they went with. They made him. He made Doomsday, not a scientist on a different planet that sacrificed many Doomsdays to make the one. Nope. It just Lex Luthor made it. Yep. Okay.
So he used the power from one of the mother boxes to make Doomsday, or the ship, or something.
Just the ship. Control me and ship to make Doomsday with Kryptonian DNA, if I remember correctly.
And that's a big thing too, because before walking into this, I've only seen from this. I saw Wonder Woman. And I think that's it. I think and then Man of Steel, but that was so long ago, I don't even remember. Is that part of the canon, Man of Steel?
Man of Steel is the first one of the universe. Then come BVS. Then we get Then you get Suicide Squad, Wonder Woman right before Justice League came out. Yes.
Oh, so I did see Suicide Squad. I keep forgetting that. It was just a series of movies. It was a series of music videos and trailers. I don't know. It was just
link with this movie at all until the Snyder Cut because it just didn't. This essentially, I mean, Wonder Woman is referenced very, very little in this movie. Like the idea like, when the scene's about Steve Trevor, but also in BVS is when Batman finds out that Wonder Woman has been around for a long time because he finds a photo of her from the movie.
Yeah, they mentioned that too. Him stealing the picture of Steve.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though, and this is kind of what I was kind of going with was I've only seen, I guess, 2 of these things. Of course, the MCU, I've seen all of them. If I had walked into the Avengers, because this is what this is. This is the DCU Avengers. Oh, yeah. This is what this is supposed to be.
Sometimes shot for shot.
But this is what it's intended to be, right? And if I'd walked into the Avengers without ever seeing Iron Man or Thor, would I be just as confused? And I think the answer is no, because I think they do just enough to reintroduce on a very basic level. And the characters are so well written that you get the characters based on how they behave with each other. You get who they are. You get who Thor is. You get who Tony is. None of these characters have any real personality. And that's the problem. So if you don't know who they are from the other films or the source material, you're relying on their personalities and their character to introduce you to kind of who you are. You know, I don't need to know that someone was seen through a photo on Lex Luthor's notebook to enjoy this. But I have to now because I don't get it, because I don't know who anybody is based on who they are in the actual movie, how they're behaving, how they're interacting. It's called movie making.
It's also not the best team. Like, I know they were going through a phase where they were trying to really promote Cyborg.
Yeah, they pushed Cyborg hard for a while.
Did they? Did they?
Yeah.
Like every Justice League origin movie like this, they have Cyborg in the cast. Like that Justice League War animated one, he's a big part of it too. Where his origin's essentially the same as it is in this, like theme for theme.
I almost watched that after I got done with this just because I wanted to watch a good Justice League origin movie, but then I decided I shouldn't do that.
It's funny because Cyborg, I actually he's probably one of my favorites in this whole motley crew of boring people I'm staring at right now.
Don't worry, I'll never see him again in the role. So
I actually liked him. I actually enjoyed him because they took a minute of their 120 that they allotted. Warner Brothers allotted them 120 minutes, including credits, to make this movie happen. And when you need at least 2.5, come on now, guys. Which is another big problem is that the fact this movie's too short, which is insanity to think you can do this.
Have I got news for you?
Oh, I know. Well, I mean, let's the little thing called overcorrecting. Ding, 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 ding.
Wikipedia even says the original cut of Justice League featured significantly more character development for Victor Stone before it was edited out in Joss Whedon's rewrites.
Yeah, Joss, you need that. Actually, thank you for leaving a little bit in, because I liked him because I was like, okay, you had an accident. Your dad hooked you up to this magic box, you understand, to save your leg, which, later on in the film, you lose said leg and just Ben Affleck just puts it back on. Just, here you go. Push that in there. You're good now.
Like a Lego.
Oh, yeah, like a Lego. It's one of a billion stupid things in this movie, which I don't know if we're going beat by beat, but whatever. I'll just go.
I was thinking about it, but I don't want to.
I mean, it's just interesting. I guess we don't have to, but then there are things I'm going to want to talk about. But I liked him. He's probably one of my favorite because I thought he was interesting. And he was like, oh, okay, this kid didn't ask for this. He was going to die. His father saved him, but now he has this technology he doesn't understand. It's growing within him. Oh, it's cool. Hey, I can look at this giant, whatever, like a giant iPad looking thing, or these hologram pads. I can just sort through photos. And yeah, it was pretty cool. I like that. Everyone else, I don't really care. Aquaman's boring.
I hope in the Snyder Cut he pulls up cat pictures and starts liking them on Facebook or something.
Yeah, he's going Giphy. He's speaking of I guess the opening of this movie when you first see Superman. All right, was there a whole bunch of really bad post-production CGI nonsense done on people's faces?
Yeah, so
everybody's face looks stupid.
This is the one that. Famously, his upper lip had to be CGI'd because he had a mustache for something else he was filming at the time.
That is
Mission Impossible. Yeah, he was stuck in contract, and when they did reshoots with Joss Whedon, they wouldn't let him shave his mustache.
So sometimes it looks really weird. Usually when he smiles.
I think it's out of spite. It wasn't like they needed it. They just they just wanted to, they were just, different studios, so fuck you, different studio type of thing?
No, probably the studio, the director's probably like, it took him 3 months to grow that mustache. Like, we had to get him back on set on Saturday. Like, he can't, dude, you guys can't do that. So they probably,
Well, he was done filming at the time.
Oh, he was done filming?
He was done filming Mission Impossible, but in case they wanted to do a reshoot, they wouldn't let him shave it, just in case.
Huh. Yeah.
We have that thing insured. All right. We need it.
Yeah. I mean, so you guys have $300 million. I saw your budget. You can just see the guy that. Yeah. But it's like quivering. Like, it looks weird. Okay. So that is a thing. All throughout this movie, people's faces are quivering and jumping due to some sort of movie magic, quote unquote. Yeah. Something done in an Adobe Premiere, just scrubbing it out, I guess, frame by frame.
I mean, it had to have been terrible, whoever had to do that job.
Yeah, oh my God. You'd be the guy for 6 months. You're every day, 8 hours a day is CG and Henry Cavill's upper lip to make it look like he doesn't have a mustache.
That would be a really interesting, like, little short film. The guy who just erased mustaches.
He comes in at 8 o'clock, sits down, puts his coffee down. Turns on his computer
and just starts scrubbing away.
Another day.
One day the computer crashes. He loses half his work. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah. Anyway, so
this movie was plagued with issues. I also kept track of the timing this time. Superman doesn't show up in this movie until an hour into the film.
Oh, until they resurrect him.
Okay, this also bothers me, because this is one thing that I do know about this movie is Zack Snyder said his favorite comic books were Death of Superman, Watchmen, and Dark Knight Returns, which are all really gritty, depressing comics. And that's what he did. He made the Death Superman, but in Death Superman, which I covered in the first comic episode a long-ass time ago, he doesn't die exactly. He gets to beat the shit out of him, but then he's taken into like a chamber to be, and he never died. He just was close to death, and since he's Kryptonian, he's able to survive and come back. It just took a while. In this, they literally act like he died, and they brought him back to life, and I'm not okay with that. All they had to do is follow the comics and just be like, no, he didn't get killed, came very, very close to death, but over time and the jump start of the mother box. So they literally take a mother box, which is a box that's electrical and computer and technology we don't understand, drop it in the water. But if we touch it with Sparkies right when it touches the water at the exact same time, we'll save him, but we won't electrocute Aquaman as standing in the water next to him. He'll be just fine.
Yeah, of course.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
But if you go through the whole death of Superman, then you got to introduce Superboy and the Cyborg Superman and all that stupid shit. You can't not have those stupid characters.
Hey, ask this movie. They didn't.
And here's the weird thing too, because for the longest time, I always thought Superman was just a boring character, because how can you feel for somebody who can't be harmed unless they have like the magic, kryptonite MacGuffin, right? There's no stakes. He can do anything. He's the strongest, most powerful, et cetera, et cetera. And I've had friends over the years.
Bill, stop you right there. He can also be hurt by magic, Bill. You got to have it right there.
He's vulnerable to magic.
Yeah. Actually. But I've had friends over the years that try to explain it. Like, he's not so much, he's more of an ideal, right? He's a mythic ideal, a mythic character, an ideal that we can all aspire to. He's an inspirational character, as opposed to like one that's interesting and flawed and varied. And I've always been like, I just don't get it. I have a friend who explained it very well. There's a bunch of books, evidently, that really flesh out Superman as like a good character, as interesting. One of them evidently is called Birthright, which involves Lex Luthor. I'm just reading it from the Discord. Involves Luthor completely destroying anyone's trust in Superman. And the book posits that he needs people to trust him in order to be who he is, hence why he wears no mask. I'm like, ooh, okay. Depth. Interesting. Hey, DC, do that. Let's just do that. Just right there. My friend just gave me a book. Evidently, that's really freaking good.
I'd have to add it to a certain list.
He said he said he can recommend multiple. So if you guys want Superman fodder for your show, by all means, I'll let you know. But that's the problem. And what my friend says is the problem with me, it's not my fault, is that I've only ingested movie mass media Superman stuff, because no one ever goes there with that character for some weird reason. So for me, Death of Superman, I didn't even realize he died, to be honest with you. I didn't know he died at the beginning of the movie. I didn't see Batman v Superman.
Yeah, that's another thing they expect you to know is funeral montage, like, okay, Superman's dead.
Another part that really bothers me is two things. When they had the beginning movie and they're playing this song, and I think it's a song that I've heard. God, what the hell? I need to pull up my notes here. No, everybody knows, and
yeah.
And they make it so depressing, but the part that bothers me so much is because Superman's dead, some guy is kicking over some fruit because Superman's dead. I'm just like, and it's like, everybody knows, dude. I'm like, this is depressing and stupid and upsetting me. And I'm not like feeling sad that Superman dead. I'm feeling sad I have to watch this movie. And I'm just like, ugh.
That was my first big laugh at the expense of this movie when the guy comes over in slow motion, kicks over those crates, and I yell out, "Fuck citrus!"
My wife's just like, "Are those peaches?" I'm like, "Yeah, I think they're peaches and nectarines."
I thought they were oranges and grapefruit, but whatever. Fuck yo, citrus! Like a Leonidas from 300 kick into a
It's
pit.
because Superman is a symbol of hope, and now that he's gone, people have lost hope. So they're petulant children.
The one thing I'm very glad they didn't do this, because I thought they were. And if they had, I would have written a letter to my congressman in annoyance. Because the whole thing was the creatures, like the bug creatures, feed off of fear, right? And now that Superman's gone, everyone's living in fear, and fear is causing everyone to go crazy and become a disgraceful, horrible Gotham City-esque society.
It's really stupid. Because
it is stupid, but the stupider thing would have been, and they didn't do this, thank God, was instead of fighting the bad guy and beating him and then having what happens, if Superman were to go around the world showing everyone he's alive again, like Space Jesus, and then everyone would have hope again.
You haven't
and then
seen
all the
BB
bugs
Superman.
go,
You gotta clap to show you believe in fairies.
All right, there's a literal scene in Batman v Superman where he comes down and there's people worshiping him like he's God.
Yeah.
Is it really?
Yes.
That I've seen.
So they already went down that road, just not in this movie. But
Okay.
it's just everything like that bothered me. That just it really upset me more than I thought it would because it's just stupid. And I'm like, I'm okay if they killed him and they bring him back. Fine, go down this road. But I don't like the ways that they do it. I mean, and again, Superman hasn't been around that long. This is only the third movie with Superman in it because you had Man of Steel when he first appears. You have BVS where he's seen as a god because he saved the world against Zod, fights Batman, kills Doomsday, and then dies. But he wasn't around that long. It's not like he had 5 movies. He's been around for 10 years, like Iron Man. He's not like he's been around all this time and has this big effect in this world that you created. He's been around for 2 movies, like probably a whole time, like 3-4 years in this universe, and all of a sudden everybody's like, ah! Like I don't buy it.
Yeah, there's not a lot I buy.
They say in this one that Batman's been doing his thing for 20 years.
Yeah, but Superman hasn't. Superman is, even though this is completely wrong in DC lore, Superman is always first in the way that. I'm not going to get into here, but yes, Batman's been around, but Superman had just came around, and Batman got his eyes on him after Man of Steel and wants to kill him, and that's what BV Superman is about.
Okay.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, you know what? It's funny. There's so many weird things. This is gonna be all over the place, but the Batman piece is weird too. I really like again. I didn't see Batman v Superman, so I don't know how Ben Affleck is in that movie. I kind of like the idea of old cranky Batman who's just sick of this shit. Like I said to my wife last night, I'm like, Ben Affleck Batman is what Tony Stark would eventually become. Just old cranky rich guy who's just sick of doing this shit.
He's eventually what Bruce Wayne becomes in Batman Beyond. He just basically that. He's just like, okay, you go out and do this shit, and I hate that I have to put up with you, but it's the right thing to do.
Right. No, exactly.
It's essentially Dark Knight Returns. Is kind of what he's inspired by,
which is good, and I actually really like that. And again, like kind of said in the past, Dark Knight Returns is basically
not the movie. Sorry, I'm talking about the comic.
Oh no, I'm talking about the movie. The third Dark Knight movie is a Bruce Wayne movie. It's not a Batman movie at all, which I actually kind of enjoy it. I'd like to see it again. I own it one day, maybe.
Not Bane either.
Yeah, one day I'll see it. I have to see it again, but So I like this idea. I like this this is good. Okay. I really love how Batman is so useless in all of these battles. Like he has no utility other than calling in his giant mechs.
Bring in the big guns.
In that ridiculous, stupid, nonsensical scene, which we'll get to hopefully.
Oh man. Bring in the big guns, bring in the big guns. That dumb scene.
Yeah, you and your dumb guns. Yeah. So I just sorry, I'm all over the place now because we're not We're not
Also,
doing this.
Batman wouldn't use a gun if it was a normal
Oh my
Batman.
god, those are not rubber bullets coming out of that spider mech.
Oh no! Yes, that's right. That's the whole Batman thing. He doesn't
This
kill
Batman
anybody.
kills, like, in BV Superman, when they first show trailers for this, he kills. Like, he's a criminal.
Oh my god.
It's just a different, I mean, that's what Snyder wanted. So if that's what Snyder made, this Batman is not the Batman. I know it is weird and we're going all completely off and we're just kind of talking about this.
It's not a normal episode, so.
No,
Yeah, we're all over the place here. So, of the characters, I'll try to center it back on something. The characters are all pretty bad for the most part. It's interesting. Did anyone see Wonder Woman 84?
Yes.
No.
Was it good? I didn't see it.
Depends on what kind of movie you want to watch.
Okay.
If you're into a comic book movie, no. If you're into a superhero movie, no. If you want a drama movie about love with a little bit of superhero in it, it's not too bad. It just depends on it's very different. It's not a bad movie. It's not great, and it's a little longer than it should be, but it's better than this. I enjoy 84 more than I enjoyed this.
How does it compare to Superman Returns? Because that is another superhero movie with not a lot of superheroing in it, but I kind of love that movie, and I will defend it.
I can't remember, other than I know Tiff really likes it and talks about it every so often, but I haven't seen it in years, so I can't give you any information.
I like that.
See, and the reason I ask is because Wonder Woman in this, of course, is dovetailing off of. Was she in Batman v Superman?
Yes, for about 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, so she's in it. Okay.
Well, no,
so
maybe she's in it more. She's introduced in Batman v Superman. That's where she meets Bruce Wayne and meets Superman, fights with him at the very end against Doomsday. So that's where all that happens. And then her solo movie gives her the backstory of how she left Themyscira and came to the world of man, and talks all about that whole thing and how she met Steve Trevor, and that's where the photo comes from that leads into BVS, which is what he makes a stupid comment about in this movie when he goes, "Oh, that photo is Steve Trevor," that dumbass shit.
You were being an asshole.
I'm not a big fan of Ben Affleck to begin with, but I don't like his portrayal of Bruce Wayne in this movie or Batman or anything. I think it's all not. I think again, no direction.
He's better than either of the Joel Schumacher Batmans, Val Kilmer and George Clooney.
Yeah, it's not saying much. Yeah, it really isn't saying much. I mean, I think he's okay as Batman. I like that cranky old man kind of persona, which I think was very good and interesting. But like you said, Mike, you nailed it. There's no direction. Be old and cranky. And so that's why everybody walks around with the same face. Like if everybody had like an emotion meter above their head, it'd all be in yellow. Like everyone just yellow emotion meter, just walking around. Like non-animated NPCs in a video game, just kind of blindly walking, do our thing.
Like he just likes big, theatrical blockbuster type things like what 300 is, and that's what I think he tried to do in this movie. And Justice League would work when it's based on the characters. Like that's why you read comics. It's the character development, how the characters react. Sure, you like your big, splash pages of action. Same with Avenger movies all have your big action, but you got to have those little moments of where the characters and you feel for them. In this movie, I didn't feel for anyone. I didn't care about anybody.
No, it's impossible to.
Not really any character development other than Cyborg coming to terms with what he's been through, and even that's, like we said, is very lacking.
It's paper thin. I mean, and again, why did you think it would be a good idea to introduce 3 characters out of the 5 on your team? Well, 5 or 6. Yes, 6. 3 characters out of your team in a 2-hour movie that develops your team. Like, again, hey, Joss, you must have been hanging out in the background somewhere. They didn't just pluck you off the golf course and say, hey, finish this. Like, you've done this. Like, you did this to the Avengers, and the Avengers works because all the characters are established. I think the only character that's not, like, established of the Avengers is Hawkeye. And even you see him in Thor, but he's the only one that's not really developed. But everybody else has had either a movie or a lot of screen time. We know them. Now the movie's about them coming together as a team. They have some differences. They have some struggles and some conflicts internally. They fracture, then they come together because that's how teams work. It's not when Jeremy Irons says you're a team. Like that's not how that works. It doesn't do that.
That's also the problem with this movie is that they didn't want to wait because Disney had gotten the step on them, had made the other movies, and they're like, and Warner Brothers got together and pretty much, I'm abbreviating what I've heard through the internet at the time when this was coming out, but it was a big thing. Like, we got Batman, we got Superman, people know these characters. We're just gonna make a Justice League movie, make all the money like they're making, and we don't have the time. We don't want to wait to make a Flash, an Aquaman, a Cyborg movie beforehand, we're just going to make this now and people can figure it out later. Because they were going to make a second Justice League movie also. Like, there was going to be a part 1 and part 2 because they were trying to copy what Avengers Infinity War and Endgame was doing. But they earned that. This wasn't... We never even got that second Justice League movie. They got scrapped pretty quickly. After BVS failed, they scrapped it, which is only their second movie in their cinematic universe did bad. They're like, nope, we're done. Throw in the towel. Cut, fire, cut. Like, we had Incredible Hulk. That movie didn't do great. I'm sure Thor didn't do amazing, but they kept going.
Right. They had a long-term plan. And this is what happens when you try to copy somebody else's success and you choose not to do the work that the other person or entity did. That's it. You can't. So the fact that this is a 2-hour movie, it's funny. My wife asked me, how long is this movie? I look up and it says 2 hours. I'm like, oh, well, it can't be exactly 2 hours. I'm sure it's 2 hours, 10 minutes. No, exactly. 120 minutes.
Exactly, on the dot.
I mean, that's how you know, like, they cut so much stuff out when they were, doing this.
It's just to what end, I guess, is the question. But even with the stuff cut in, that's why I think the Snyder cut might be actually interesting to see. I'm not going to, but it might be interesting to see like what the initial intention was, the actual vision before Warner Brothers did corporate things and decided to cut this movie in half and say, screw it, let's just try to make our money back, which they didn't. It'll be interesting to see, but I can't imagine this movie with a darker tone. During that opening you're talking about with the song What Everybody Knows, which is done by an artist, Sigrid, she's very good. I like that song a lot. It's actually a great song. There's a shot of a homeless man on the street, and the camera closes in, and it's got a cardboard thing that says, a cardboard sign that says, I tried. I went, oh my God, like, good. This isn't like a documentary of like squalor in some, or like some post-apocalyptic, like that's dark with air quotes because it's just sad. It's not dark. It's just sad and almost kind of mean with no context or reasoning. And that's why I think Zack Snyder messes up. He's confusing, I want a dark, gritty tone. Okay, you got to work real hard to get that. Like, you can't, not everyone's Christopher Nolan in the Dark Knight series. Like, and the other question is why? Like, why do you want that? I don't know.
Because Marvel is not that. So like, well, no one likes Marvel. They want the brooding Batman because the Nolan trilogy did so well. So we're going to make the DCEU exactly that.
But the Nolan trilogy works. Yeah, but the Nolan trilogy works wonderfully because it doesn't have to be a Batman movie at all. Like, you could just be superhero of the month, right? And it doesn't matter. Like that first one, like, who knows who the hell Scarecrow is, right? Like, no one really knows what that guy is. I guess, the comic or play the games
or the
but they made it work. Like, they took characters that were unknown, but they still found a way to give them character development for you to kind of, like, get into what's happening. In this movie, they picked one of the worst villains they could have picked that had, one's a stupid villain from the comics. I don't even know who the hell he was. And I've seen this movie. I've read a lot of DC comics. I still have no idea who he is. And I don't care either.
I kept thinking Steppenwolf, like the band, like Smoke on the Water. Is that Steppenwolf?
Yeah, that's Steppenwolf.
That was my biggest question mark. It's like, how are you going to set up the entire Justice League and then not just do Darkseid? Which I guess he's in the Snyder Cut to some degree, but like, go big or go home.
Well, that's because that was the second movie was going to be Darkseid that we were supposed to get. I know, that's my other issue is that this whole movie was the setup for a second movie, and I really don't even understand how a second movie even would have worked after, like...
Yeah.
I just don't get where they were going with this. Because I think the original plan was Superman wasn't going to be in this movie till the very end, and that's when he gets resurrected and to help him fight Darkseid in the second movie.
Firstly, Steppenwolf is born to be wild. It's not Smoke on the Water.
Okay, no, Smoke on the Water is Deep Purple.
Yes, thank you. I'm an idiot. And secondly, the villain in this Steppenwolf is so bad. I mean, he reminded me of like a mid-2000s comic book villain.
Oh my God, like, he's Malachi from Thor Dark World.
Basically, he has the same face, only Malachi from Dark World looked better. He's a mix of Malachi and from Thor Ragnarok with the helmet, because he has his hoofed helmet or whatever the fuck those things are. Yeah, a horrendous villain. Just, again, I got 3 squares. I'm going to put them together. I love there's a moment, and I apologize if I'm getting too far afield. This whole show is going to be far afield. There's a moment when Superman comes back, right? He resurrects, and he doesn't recognize anybody because you just resurrected a dead person. His brain's probably a little scrambled. Unless Amy Adams shows up and the power of love. But that's another nonsensical thing. They have this whole fight battle, right? And then somehow the cube that one of the guys was holding just crushes a car, but no one thinks to go get it.
Yeah, that's my wife's like, are they going to get that cube before they go to Superman?
Is that what happened? Because I wasn't paying attention.
When Superman shoots up out of the ship, the cube flies up with him and lands on a car.
Right.
And then they just leave it.
I was wondering how Steppenwolf got it, because all of a sudden he has it. I'm like, when did he take it? I looked away, or I wasn't paying attention or something.
If only you had someone that had some kind of fast movement ability that could go get it on the way there. But
hey.
I don't think anyone like that exists. There's only 3 of them in this movie.
hey, Flash, could you do me a favor and just go grab that that source of unwieldy power? That way Steppenwolf doesn't come in there and go yoink, because that's literally he comes down, goes ooh yoink, he just disappears. And I had a good laugh, but like nobody think hey guys, just
the MacGuffin's over there.
The MacGuffin's there. I mean, we should probably get that. I mean, I know it's Superman and all, but
he's got the other 2. He just needs that one. Let's leave it in the open.
Okay, I also have another complaint. For those that, if I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I'm not. Mother boxes are like a cell phone. And when it comes to DC, they're not like these 3 boxes. There are only 3 that destroy a world. It's like a thing that teleports you from point A to point B. That's what they are.
They open the boom tubes.
Yes, they are not they're just a normal item. It's not like how it only has 3 that have been here for thousands of years and are hidden. Like that's not.
Hang on, pardon me. Did you say boom tubes?
Yes.
Boom tube.
Whenever you saw that blue thing that he went into, that's a boom tube.
Blue beam to space. They're the portals that go from Apocalypse to wherever they need them to go.
So bloom as in like blooming.
No, boom as an explosion.
As kaboom. So a boom. Okay, so I was right. Boom tube. You know what, DC? Do you wonder why you're second fiddle? You wonder? You actually put a thing in your comics called the boom tube, and I'm sure there's stupid things in Marvel.
First appearance is March 1971. It's like in this movie, they call him the Aquaman. I'm like, there's just no way not to make that name from the 60s or whatever sound not lame. It's so lame.
I like this name.
Yeah,
I like this character. I do not appreciate your tone, sir.
I think, all right, so here's the other thing with the characters, and that's what I was trying to go to before, is the characters in this movie, they're all okay. They're actually okay. They're actually fine. Like, again, I like Cyborg, Robot Man. It's funny, I looked up after the movie, like, did they say the guy's name? I just called him Robot Man or Victor. And it's like, Cyborg. I'm curious, I'm wondering if it's like, something cool. No Cyborg. I'm like, oh, okay. Okay, fair enough. Cyborg.
Oh, and just
I like Cyborg, okay. Wonder Woman's, spent some time with her. She's good, although I'm
get a lot to do in this movie.
No, she really doesn't. She has that really cool action scene. Well, she's involved pretty heavily in the action. That opening scene is very cool, watching her block bullets and stuff.
Yep.
A little unrealistic, but I do just think that's very cool. I'm afraid she's limited. I'm wondering, because I'm afraid she's limited as a character. At the end of this, I'm like, oh, I don't know where we go with you, because one of the big themes I thought what they were trying to do was she's growing into a leader. She has that whole scene with Batman where, I can't tell people to go and risk their lives, right? And I'm surprised he didn't say something like, no, you have to inspire them to, or something stupid. But he just muttered something stupidly and walked away, which I thought that's interesting. Oh, maybe it's like a Captain America thing where you're like growing into this leadership role, where actually Cap doesn't grow into anything. He's just a leader. But then Superman shows up and he's Space Jesus. And you're like, okay, well, I guess Space Jesus is running the show. He's
tagging him in.
So what's she going to do? Like, where is she going to grow as a character? Cyborg, he's already figured out his stuff. He's fully cyborged. By the end of it, he's totally Metal Man. So he's good. Batman's going to retire and just kind of like buy buy foreclosed properties because of movie reasons.
Cyborg, if he's Metal Man, he's OP now because he has metal blades. Everything dies in 2 hits.
You know what? As soon as I said it, I'm like, that's a softball underhand. Yep. That's an easy one.
I will take that hit.
Yep. So I don't know where these characters go, is my point. Where do we go from here?
Luckily, I don't think they're going to get the chance to find out.
I guess not. It's like writing yourself into 5 holes. Superman is... That's why I think this might be even better served as almost like almost like a Star Trek style, like old school Star Trek, where everyone has their little individual, movies, right? And don't worry about the Justice League. Just let's go on individual adventures. Maybe other people pop in the other movies, and let's just focus on fun adventures.
They should have. I mean, that's kind of what they're doing now after this failed. Like they're kind of retconning that this never even happened.
Everything, yes.
I mean, Aquaman references that he had Justice League things and the movie happened, but that's about it. Completely goes its own direction, completely ignores everything.
And that way, if you can just write yourself into a corner with a character that has no more growth, you can't figure out what to do with them. That's the last movie. Done. Cool. Little side movie. And I don't know what you do with these characters because I think there's the guts of this is actually fine. If it didn't look so ugly and the CGI wasn't so bad and the action wasn't so frenetic and they make baffling editing decisions and
I love this. Like this movie would be great. It wasn't for this.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's all I can think of stuff.
But the guts of a superhero movie are your superheroes. That is the meat of it, right? And they're there. There's something there. You can resurrect this dead body. So I'm curious if the Snyder Cut's
exactly
do it and at least make this respectable or at least jump offable.
This movie came out 4 years ago, and they've seen how the internet reacted to it since then. Surely they wouldn't go through all this trouble to make the Zack Snyder cut if it wasn't going to be better than what this already is. It just seems like a waste of time and effort.
Agreed. It would be a waste, and I think they've spent another $70 million on this recut and
ridiculous
redo whatever. Again, I really want to know who's stealing this money. Like, where is this getting laundered? Where is this money actually ending up? Someone's got a lot of saved up toilet paper and paper towels from the pandemic. Someone's just funneling this money somewhere. Because it ain't on the screen.
I say that, and yet this is the 5th movie in the DCEU, and this is the 3rd of those 5 that they are redoing to make them better, because they did it with BVS and they did it with Suicide Squad too.
Yep.
Well, you're talking about the reboot of Suicide Squad. Well, Suicide Squad, the new one, is kind of a completely different movie. That's probably
I thought there was another cut of that one.
No, there was a petition to get the Ayer cut because Ayer had a whole plan for Suicide Squad, but a lot of that got scrapped because the studio got involved again, and again they were upset over BVS, so they decided to cut and change the movie because after BVS got released, everything else was how can we fix this and save our money? So we're just going to cut everything, fire everybody we hired that we trusted, and we know best. As we sit in our chairs up in our office and make 6 figures for doing it was just bad.
And then it's just the meme of the dog sitting in the burning cafe. This is fine.
I mean that's what happened with these 3 movies like that, or BVS not as much. BVS they let him do his own thing, and when it wasn't critically received, it was within the first week that it came out that they started going crazy over Suicide Squad and going crazy over Justice League, and just started they were already filming everything at this before BVS came out. They just gave them the green light to go ahead and make our movies.
Yeah, I see it now. After they announced that Zack Snyder's Justice League was coming out, everyone got on board to redo Suicide Squad.
Yeah, because I think if you see Suicide Squad, you can tell there's 2 movies in there, and they had a whole different plan, I think, going in that got rewritten that makes that movie bad.
Yeah, I saw Suicide Squad in theaters because I got a T-Mobile free movie. It's like Free Movie Tuesday something. They gave me a free ticket to see Suicide Squad. So I'm like, hey, Jane, let's go see some Suicide Squad. Walked out.
No, that's okay.
It was, and it's interesting. You're talking about how the core. I was talking about how the core of this movie is there's something there. I'm looking at Wikipedia, and the second paragraph here it says that where was I? The film received mixed reviews from critics who praised the action sequences and performances, particularly of Godot and Miller. That's fair. I think that's accurate. But criticized the plot, writing, score, pacing, villain, and computer-generated imagery. Everything else in this film.
Okay, there's another dumb thing that we have to mention that bugs me about this movie. And again, it's another studio thing, I'm sure, because as I brought up on the show before, after Man of Steel came out, lots and lots of people died, and there were a lot of complaints about it. So a bunch of superhero movies like Age of Ultron had this scene where people are rescuing people from the car. BVS, they say, "Oh, the city's empty. We evacuate everybody. It's okay. Destroy the building. Nobody's here." And in this movie, they kind of do the same thing. But also they have like this random little house that in Russia, they keep showing the stupid family. Oh, the parademons are coming. They're outside the gate. Oh God, better board up the house. The girl grabs her bug spray. And they bring that scene about 4 or 5 times throughout the movie to kind of show you the progression of what the parademons are doing in this town. And it just bothers me so much. It is so stupid. And it's only there so they can be rescued in the end for a joke. And I'm sure there was something else that was going there. And it's dumb. It shouldn't be there.
It's kind of this. I was thinking about this. I was trying to figure out why it didn't work, because I think what it was, the attempt was to showcase there are people around this. It's a minimal stakes kind of thing with an event happening nearby that's like maximum stakes. Like, again, destroying the world. So I think they were trying to incorporate a little human drama in there, where you have some like, oh my gosh, there's this family, they're stuck in this house. You know, Dad's got a shotgun with 2 shells, and
it's just hanging on the wall.
It's hanging on the wall. Yeah. By the way, that's not good, Pop. You should probably stick that someplace less accessible to your children,
to your like 9-year-old daughter.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, Daddy, what's this? No, it's not good. It's a bad thing. But I think they were trying to introduce some sort of like just human stakes, because there are no human stakes in this movie. There's no real risk to any real people in this. Yeah. It's just an overarching fear of this kind of like catastrophe. So I think that's what they're trying to do.
Steppenwolf kidnaps those scientists trying to find the man's mother box. And
that's right.
He does kill a couple of them.
That's true.
That was also dumb. Like everything with Steppenwolf is stupid in this movie.
Oh yeah, he's not a good villain.
No, he's horrible. I mean,
he's basically Loki from Avengers without the actual personality.
Right. Yeah, basically.
Okay. I mean, even like that whole. Like, one thing we haven't mentioned yet is that early in this movie, they do like a whole outbreak, like, what word do I want to use? Whole background of where Steppenwolf came all these years ago, and, you know, he's the Lanterns and the Amazons and Man fought him, and he made 3 rings to rule them all, you know, and that's all I could think of was, so 3 mother boxes, 1 goes to the door.
3 boxes to rule them all.
Yeah, I know. But still, it was just... That's all I could think of, and it's kind of cool, but it also reminded me of Thor: Dark World. I'm like, you know what? Thor: Dark World did this better for the background of a movie to explain what's going on.
I'm like, impressed that anything reminded you of Thor: Dark World. I
am a little, actually.
You famously cannot remember that movie exists.
Hey, people look it up on YouTube all the time.
There you go.
But you in particular are quite famous at this point for not remembering that movie.
I don't remember that movie. I talk about it with people every so often. I'm like, I can't remember that movie.
Yeah. It's very forgettable. The only reason I remember is because we talked about it for 2 hours on a podcast 6-7 months ago. That's really the only reason I remember anything about it.
That scene, actually, it was my biggest disappointment. It's like, oh, there's a Green Lantern. Oh, well, that's over. He kills the Green Lantern, the ring flies off, and that's it.
So here's a question. Is there more than one ring for Green Lanterns?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is kind of like a standard army issue for whatever planet that is.
There is a Green Lantern army from the planet Oa, and they kind of dispatch basically police officers throughout the galaxy.
Okay. That's actually a fine idea.
Well, Green Lanterns are amazing.
They're cool. Okay. See, I've only ingested movies, and they usually suck. So I don't know.
It's one of my favorite scenes in this movie was seeing the Green Lantern fighting Steppenwolf, and then seeing one of them die, and that was the best part of the movie for me.
And then there's like a precursor to Shazam there shooting lightning or something.
Those are actually that's what I thought too, but it's supposed to be the Greek god.
Oh, okay.
Because the Greek gods are characters in DC Universe, and they were around at this time still.
Gotcha.
And all I want to see now is Kratos show up. That'd be kind of awesome with his Greek god friends.
We talked about Flash. We talked about Cyborg. We talked about Wonder Woman. Aquaman doesn't get a lot of shine in this movie either. He's kind of a joke. Like, there's a dumb line at one point when Batman first meets Aquaman. He's like, "So you talk to fish, right?" I'm like, "You fucking idiots!" I mean, I'm a big fan of Aquaman. There's a reason why there's 2 comic episodes about Aquaman in this show earlier. I just really like the character. I think part of it started as a joke, and I ended up becoming really liking the character. And it's fine. Like, they go with the dumb jokes in this movie for no reason other than, oh, the internet thought that was funny in 2016. Let's make more Aquaman jokes. Like, you're making a whole movie.
They make the talk to fish jokes twice. They do it again later on.
Yeah, it's just unnecessary, and it doesn't. He's a good character, and like the whole part where he goes down to Atlantis for like one scene to talk to Mara.
To get his ass kicked.
Which they don't
set up who she is. Who is that?
Becomes his wife later.
Yeah.
What? But as a viewer, and Aquaman, the movie has not come out yet.
No.
So
they're trying to set that up.
This is the person this is the first time we've seen Aquaman, right? The introduction to the character.
Yes.
Yeah. He's a drunken asshole. Cool. Great.
Mara is an assassin she's from one of the other families of the royalty in Atlantis. She's a daughter of somebody, and in the comics she was supposed to go kill Aquaman, but ends up falling in love with him.
Cool. Okay, sorry. Go ahead. Continue on, Mike. I'm sorry.
You're fine. She's the queen, but yeah, no, you're right. She's just there. They don't show her. They give her the briefest scene, but I also can't enjoy her anymore because Amber Heard is not a good person, so it makes it harder. Normally I can handle it, but this one, that one hits a little too close to home.
Ooh, okay. I don't know this.
Amber Heard had did a bunch of accusations against Johnny Depp, saying he raped her and beat her and stuff like that.
Oh, right.
Found out as evidence came up that she was the one that beat him, and she was the one that was doing all the things that she said that he did.
Ew. That's ugly.
But I think there's evidence to actually support that Johnny Depp was not the one that did everything, but he also lost a bunch of contracts. He lost a bunch of films because of what she said. And I mean, I have, if you've been abused, come out. Like I completely, but the fact, like to use that, like it's terrible when people make up shit like that because it hurts people, and plus it hurts people that have been hurt because now you're crying wolf. Like, so it makes me really not like her.
That's fair. Wow.
I really liked her before because she's very hot. Now I'm very upset that I don't like her anymore.
That's a shame. That sucks to hear. I mean, Aquaman as a character, again. The movie has no time to even set this person up because they got two more people to set up. The first thing you see him do that's Aquaman-y is to save that random sailor from the ocean, right? He's in that storm and the guy goes under. Aquaman comes, saves him, brings him back to the pub, and I guess it's daytime now because that thing happened at night. In the daytime, and smashes him on the table and then starts drinking.
Yeah, and then throws the bottle into the ocean.
I know. He throws the bottle. Like, dude, you're littering. That's not nice. And then, my thought was like, this guy just feels like he's working for the village. Like this is just his job. Like, he kind of clocked in, clocked out, and he's just about to go off his shift when he sees this guy fall in the water. And he's like, oh, come on. All right, I am not missing the Masked Singer tonight. All right, I'm not. So let me just save this guy, throw him on the thing, and get him out.
He downs that bottle, jumps into the ocean, starts swimming around, and my wife's like, "Is he dunk diving right now?" It's like, oh my god, that's a joke that if I made it, she would have groaned audibly.
No, that's good.
Yeah, that's good. She's real proud of that one.
It's really stupid, and it bothers me how dumb they make Aquaman. Plus, they give him close to his original costume, which I'm happy with, but all of a sudden he just has it. He goes down to Atlantis, finds out about the mother box. He comes back with the trident, which, for those that don't know, which is most people that listening because they don't read Aquaman, that trident means he's king. He's not king in this movie. That's what that trident is.
It's not even a trident. It's like a quindent. It's got 5 points on it. That's why Batman calls it a pitchfork.
Okay, I didn't catch that, but it bothered me. So you're referencing the comics, you're referencing Aquaman, but you're not even doing it right. Like, again, they should have did the Aquaman movie first, and then had this, and then would have linked it perfectly.
Yes, that'd be perfect. And I know the guy. Yes, just do that first. And I don't know if they connect up or connect back. I don't know how that works.
They reference that Justice League happened, but that's it. They do not. They want to just don't do that as far as they can.
So stupid. So misguided. Again, Marvel did this. Like 10, 15 years ago. Just do this. Do this again. Just do that. Just follow follow that script, right? Develop all your characters with their own standalone movies. Get some smaller directors who have individual authorial styles and directorial styles, and then we'll all bring them together for this nice Justice League movie once everybody knows who they are. No, we gotta make the big movie now. Come on.
Work backwards.
Our stock is dropping. Let's go. Fast.
And that's one of my problems. Oh, apparently Amber Heard will be in more in the Snyder cut because there was supposed to be more in this movie that got cut.
I think saying that at this point is rather redundant. I think it's like there's like so evidently like a half of this movie was cut. So yeah, I would see it if your listeners would pony up $15, whatever it is, to get a month of HBO.
Man, you're making me actually now have to put a Patreon finally. I
want this to be a stretch goal, and I'll spend 4 hours watching a damn movie.
You just don't want to pay for it. You're going to pay for it.
No, I don't want to pay for it. No, I don't want to pay for it. I shan't. I don't think I know anybody with HBO Max, nor will I ask them. So, but then, yeah, again, so I'm kind of already talked about the characters. There was one point, again, this movie, another, as I said before we got on the air or on the recording, was the pacing of this movie is god awful. This is, the guys asked me how it was paced, and I said that this is paced like if you took a trash can full of film bits and then threw it down a cliff, and it just went dum, 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 dum. That's how this movie's paced. There's one scene in particular, and this is the most egregious cut. And in a movie full of egregious cuts where things just stop and then start and then stop and then start, there's a scene where they're in the tunnel. Right, and that's that big scene where they're, and you guys know where I'm going with this.
Yes.
I didn't need to set this up too much. The scene where this is when Batman brings in the bat tank, like the bat spider. I don't know what he calls it. The bat spider. The Nightcrawler.
It's terrible.
It's a pretty bad bat tech. Let's be honest. It's not great stuff that you built there. Very one-tasked. It's only good for the scene it's in, you see. It's as if the writer said, I need a way for them to get out of this tube. Let me make an entire Batman car that all it does is get them out of this tube. It's really the only use it has. It goes up, it climbs up, and we actually have stakes, right? The tunnel is filling with water. They're climbing out. It breaks. It stops working, right? Cyborg has his hands shoved into the computer because that's how computers work. And he's like, oh. And then cut. They're all out of the water. They're all just standing there.
He's like, shit, what do they call the box? They have another name for the box. But he goes off to get it, and then everyone else is like, Flash even says, like, did he just bail? And then, they just cut, they're out, and I'm like, wait, what just happened? Did I miss something?
Right. Well, he bails, and then they're out, and they're fine. And I looked at the screen, and my wife and I both screamed, like, how did you get out? And then I screamed, hey, this is a professionally made movie, made by artisans and artists and professionals who know how to make these movies. Hundreds of people are involved with making these movies, and they're all very talented craftspeople. Who saw that and said, that's good, perfect, great.
I thought I just missed it because I was like, that's weird. What happened? I thought I stopped paying attention during this movie.
And it sounds like I'm harping on like one thing, but that is like major continuity. That is not a continuity break. That is a continuity explosion.
Cut. It was just cut.
It was just a senseless. It's something a film student would do. Like, it's like film school bad. You can't do that as a professional filmmaker. Put that on a screen. You just can't do that. Hey, Warner Brothers, let it be 2 hours and 3 minutes.
Oh, another reason why this movie is so short
exactly
is BVS. The original BVS looks like it was 3 hours and 3 minutes.
It's too long for this. I mean,
I think that's another reason why that they cut so much stuff was they were upset that
But that's the problem. This is why the real villain of this movie is Warner Brothers. Forget Steppenwolf. This is a Warner Brothers is the evil creature. This is a prime example when a corporate entity gets their hands inside an artistic endeavor and thinks they know better. And thinks they know better based off of completely arbitrary, sales figures and focus groups and test screenings. And they say, well, our test audience didn't like the fact that we need 5 more jokes because the test audience demands 5 more jokes. So let's just stick this into this movie. And audiences don't like movies that are 2.5 hours, even though every Marvel movie for the last 15 to 10 years has been over 2 hours. It's just corporate meddling and nonsense. And that is what I took away from, like, you just, WB, not to be like Angry Joe, you done fucked it up. Anyway, so that was the most egregious cut for me in a movie full of baffling decisions.
Looney Tunes Back in Action does that bit as a joke, where they're like, we got to get to Paris. How do we get to Paris? And Bugs Bunny's like this, and he pulls to the side of the screen, and suddenly they're there. It's basically the same thing in this. It's like,
it's great.
How we get out of the hole? Like this.
But that can work in a cartoon.
Yeah.
It doesn't work in this.
Well, they don't even reference it. It just happens.
It's emblematic.
I was wrong.
It's emblematic of what's wrong with this movie.
The 3 hour is the extended cut. The original cut is 152 minutes, so 2.5 hours.
Well, that's fine. Again, you walk into a superhero movie in this day and age, if it's not like Shazam or like one of the lighter ones, you expect you're going to be there for 2.5 hours. Like there should be no surprise. If you go into a movie that's called Justice League and you know there's going to be 5 or 6k characters, you're going to be there for 2.5 hours. That's just, this as a movie-going person.
There's a couple things I do want to say about Cyborg. One, like we were supposed to get a Cyborg film, but they're never going to make one because the actor had allegations against Joss Whedon. Like we mentioned earlier in this episode that Joss Whedon stuff had came out a little bit before we recorded this, that the whole Buffy cast came out against Joss Whedon, and it was all because of Ray Fisher, the first one that did. And then he's also saying that's why they fight. They won't work with him again. Or they won't because of that, which is probably not surprising with Hollywood being Hollywood.
Yeah, no, that's just kind of that's a shame. That stinks to hear. I did not hear. I know a lot of stuff about Joss Whedon came out recently, but I was not aware there was.
He was the first one to call the whole environment toxic and things, but. And that had led to it. I mean, I'm not surprised that they're not making a Cyborg movie because I don't think Cyborg's a big enough character to really, especially when Justice League didn't do well, to put a movie on. Just because. Yeah,
I mean, I know. I think these characters are pretty solid if they just had a chance to be more than garbage. Or
maybe he'll be able to run it, not trip over himself every time.
That could be good. That might be helpful. So. Was there anything y'all liked in this movie? I know, because Michael, you said you enjoyed your time with this.
So, I recognize that it's not a good movie, like we've said for the last hour and a half.
Only an hour.
Pacing's all over the place, and all the characters are poorly written. But some of the action's fun. Like when they resurrect Superman, he's going ballistic. He's got Wonder Woman and Cyborg and Aquaman all held up. Flash tries to flank him, run around the side.
Right.
And during super speed slow-mo, you see Superman kind of click into the Speed Force, and he looks over, gives him the biggest stink eye I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And then just fighting in super speed. Little kid me was very happy at that because it was really cool.
I have a complaint with that part.
Okay.
Because yes, Flash is faster than Superman.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Superman is fast, but the thing is Superman has other abilities that make him more well-rounded, where Flash has that speed, and the fact that Superman's like, oh, you're running, that's nice, and just stops and throws people and grabs them, I'm like, wrong.
The Flash might not have been running at his full speed. He still dodges out of the way of Superman's punches.
This Flash is terrible.
That's accurate.
I mean, partly I'm ruined because I watched Grant Gustin play Flash for years at this point, and he does an amazing job as Flash. And Ezra Miller I don't blame the actor. I don't know anything about him, but just the fact that, again, I think it was no direction. I think he wasn't given direction of how to play the character. Yeah, and just the writing of the character, how he's like, oh, one of the ending parts of this movie, oh, you got a job. Yeah, it's a job. And I'm like, he's Barry Allen is very, very intelligent, and they make Barry Allen just this kind of like a loser because he's so upset about what happened to his father, which is in the comics, is in the Flash Flash show, but he also uses that as an inspiration to do more with his life to help prove his father's innocent, not, well, I'm just going to go work 4 jobs, and I don't know, it just bothered me.
If you want to reinvent Flash, just make it Wally West. That way you don't have to mirror all this Barry Allen stuff.
Also, he gets his powers by being at the crime lab because the chemicals are there when he hit by lightning. He wasn't at the crime lab because he didn't have the job yet, but he has the powers.
Yeah, he was struck by lightning.
But there has to be chemicals.
It's the abridged version, as he says to Cyborg.
Yeah, because the filmmakers won't let me tell you the whole story. So
yeah. It's like mutants in the MCU. So we don't fucking know. It just happened, all right?
Yeah. And that grave digging scene is probably, again, I can't imagine Zack Snyder giving anybody time to do anything, that develops a bond or develops relationships or develops character. So I'm sure that was a Joss Whedon joint.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm sure.
Also, that scene bothers me because in the comics and everything else, his body is not put in the ground because he dies as Superman. They don't bury Clark Kent. They put Superman in the mausoleum.
So my wife and I were talking, so does everyone know that Superman is Clark Kent? Because, she's well, wouldn't people have noticed that Clark died at the same time? And then when Lois shows up, she yells Clark in front of that random police guy. It's like, does everyone just know or what?
Yeah. It's kind of.
Because he, Clark Kent just goes missing in the comics, and they say he died like covering some war or something. Because he's covered wars, So that's what they do with him. But in this, it's that really upset me because there's no way a Superman would have died in Superman. They just take his body. Oh, we're just gonna take this body, and it gets put in the mausoleum. So it upset me.
Yeah, well,
I have a lot of problems with this movie.
No, it's fair, and again that's kind of one of those things too, where if you're gonna build the character, try to do it. Don't try to do it in your Justice League movie. I mean. That's just emblematic of all the issues with this. And again, like even the moments that he had with Cyborg and that grave digging, which I did think was weird. It's like he's just a nondescript grave. Just threw him in the ground there and buried him. Fine. Which was very. It was actually pretty decent. Again, they're not being directed, so they're just pretending to be friends. And I really do like the actor who plays Cyborg. I think he's actually rather good. But that was a moment. I was like, okay. A moment. Good. Let's linger on this. Let's not linger in the cornfield with Lois and Superman staring at each other in a horribly framed shot, by the way. There's that shot. There's that long lens 2 shot where Superman's on one end, Lois lands on the other, and there's nothing but corn and sky. And like rule of thirds, like the framing of this is just terrible. Like
I just assume that's all Kansas was corn and sky. So
that
could be accurate for all I know.
You're around there. You're not in Kansas. You're not that far, are you?
Close enough.
It's just the technical decisions of this. Apart from the Warner Brothers stuff, it still looked ugly. Like this is an ugly looking movie. We didn't even get into the horrendous CGI, and we talked a bit about Superman's dumb face.
CGI.
What's that?
I had no problem with it. I didn't notice.
Really?
I've never been able to notice the mustache. I look for it every time, but I need someone to point it out for me. Like
it's not just the mustache. It's the fact. It's the action scenes. The way that I think the little bug creatures are actually designed pretty cool.
Yeah.
Again, they're ugly and gross, which me. Fits right into my wheelhouse.
I mean, they do look cool.
But even like the background when Steppenwolf is fighting against his background, it's clearly green screen, almost to the point where you sometimes can see seams like in the actual frame of his character. The CGI is almost inexcusably bad. Like this is a major tentpole movie. Like this should not have been greenlit for $300 million. Like CGI is horrendous in this.
I don't even think Gotham. I don't think there's a single set in Gotham. I think it's all CG.
Yeah, well, now that was another question too, because are we in Gotham or Metropolis?
Yes.
We jumped from both.
Okay, see, there you go. That was another question my wife had this morning over breakfast.
As a guy who reads a lot of DC comics, if I remember correctly, Gotham is either in New Jersey. I want to say it's in New Jersey. I think it's by the coast. And Metropolis is supposed to be Chicago.
Okay.
They're not that close.
So anytime it's nighttime, you just assume they're in Gotham. Anytime it's daytime, assume it's Metropolis.
Fair enough.
That seems to be how it works.
Yeah, because Batman also says, I'm here in Metropolis now. I'm not in Gotham anymore. So is he like in a temporary place? Was he in his bat area?
Oh, and I forgot a very important line from BVS. The whole reason why Batman tried to kill Superman is because he was on the ground when Man of Steel happens in Metropolis, and he watches the building get destroyed. And that's what he wanted to kill Superman.
I remember that.
Good Lord.
Yep.
But
Man of Steel sucks.
Oh, there's another thing I need to say. I think Zack Snyder has an obsession with Mother, because in this movie they kept saying the mother will listen to you, and the mother, and I'm thinking of some other movies that go Martha, and all I can think is like, does he have an obsession with Mother or something? Like, is it just?
So what was the mother? So wait, so
the mother box, the energy,
right? The mother box, right? But didn't you guys say that that's supposed to summon a something? Because Steppenwolf keeps praying to a mother.
The mother, I think, is Granny Goodness. I think is who he's talking to.
Yeah, you said those words to me before we started recording, and I said to you, "You made that up. Stop that. Don't. You're just trying to wind me up before the show. I get what you're doing."
He goes, and the new gods of the comic book that Steppenwolf and Darkseid and all of them are first in.
The old gods die.
Great.
That's what. And we're also supposed to get a New Gods movie, by the way, too. Supposedly. Sure.
I'll be waiting in line. I'm pre-ordering now. I'm sorry.
You
I'm
guys-
sorry. I'm so negative about this, but it's really it's just baffling to me, all these terrible decisions and bad moments. But yeah, you said something about a granny, and I just shook my
Hey,
head.
she's in the Snyder Cut.
That's what you said, and I saw that when I was looking at the Wikipedia. I said, "Oh boy, that might be worth the 15 bucks."
Demonic grandmother is how we're gonna put it, because that's about accurate.
Cool. Although I'm sure I could, I'm sure I could look at some Marvel characters that are really goofy and dopey too, and be like, "Oh, really? Is that what you're doing now?"
That's one of them.
What's that?
That's one of them.
Who is?
Hawkeye. He's a dopey character.
Oh, Hawkeye. Well, no, I told you guys,
Like
I'm on Hawkeye's team now. I'm okay. I get it. I get him. I'm good. I apologize already.
Oh no, there are Marvel characters that are really dopey. I just can't think of any offhand either.
Cool. So for me, the one moment I did like that actually genuinely gave me. I did like the action too. I thought that's what he does well. Zack Snyder can direct action, and there's no question of that. He's very good again with that slow motion stuff. For the most part, is pretty neat. I liked all the Flash slow motion stuff, even though some of it goes on way too long.
Oh yeah, they're like, this is our one CG effect. This is what we're going to do.
Yeah.
This is, hey, X-Men did really good. Let's
Exactly.
try that, put our own spin on it.
Yeah.
When
Trip instead.
when he's running to get Wonder Woman's sword back to her, that is straight up the Quicksilver part from the Fox movies.
You know,
Okay.
we haven't said this much, but she is the best thing about this movie, even though I don't think she really gets enough screen time. Or
Oh
really
no, she does not have enough to do. But Gal Gadot kicks ass in this movie.
Yeah.
It made me want to watch 84 again, and that's not a good thing. But it made me want to watch 1984 again because I just wanted more Gal Gadot.
I'm just concerned they don't know what to do with her. I don't think they have.
You haven't seen 1984 yet.
Well, I get maybe that's what it is. Because again, Superman is such a, again, not to reiterate what I said earlier, but I feel like they set her up to be this leader of the team. You know, like, I can't be this, and you know, Bruce Wayne just blah, 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 and says something stupid. But then Superman shows up and he's Space Jesus, so of course we're all going to look up to Space Jesus. You know, so where is she now in this? Right? I mean, I don't. And again, I haven't seen 84, and I won't, so I don't have time.
And 84 had nothing to do with this, but I just keep referencing
exactly.
because I want more Gal Gadot.
But the one thing I did like, which was with Wonder Woman, when they were talking in the Bat Base. I guess that's the Bat Base. And Aquaman is talking about how he doesn't care about anybody.
Oh my god, this scene is the best scene in the movie.
It's pretty great, and this is probably this sounds again very Wheaton-y to me.
It is.
I
100%.
like, yeah. All of a sudden he's talking, and all of a sudden he starts talking about his inner feelings and how he's really frail and afraid, and he wants to make sure he lives up to it. And he looks down, and he's got the lasso of truth around him. I had a really good laugh. That was very funny. Very good.
He's like, you don't have any superpowers, no offense. You're tripping over your own feet and mine. This guy might be working for the enemy. We don't know. And he gets to Wonder Woman. He's like, you're gorgeous.
Yeah.
It's like, yes, that is accurate. Correct.
Yep. all correct statements. But that was a cute moment. They needed a little more of that. Just this group kind of interacting.
Yeah.
But again, it's just, and then of course we haven't really talked about the ending, which there's not much to talk about.
That's supposed to be Chernobyl, by the way.
Yeah, it's supposed to be Chernobyl, and these kind of resurrecting mother, or I guess, or doing the mother thing.
So the boxes come together to form the Union, which terraforms whatever planet's on to be more like Apocalypse.
Yeah, and this
That's
whole
just the
idea
planet.
that Stefan was lost all those years ago, that he was banished, so he couldn't come back to Apocalypse.
Right. And my question is is that a planet called Apocalypse?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a little
That's
on the
where
nose.
Darkseid rolls over.
Gotcha. A little on the nose there, but
Oh
okay.
yeah, 100%.
So
It was the 70s. I think
Yeah.
it's the 70s.
This is true.
Or earlier.
I was thinking, because they're showing that kind of the recap, or kind of just giving you the information dump of Apocalypse and the three squares and all that. And I remember thinking, like, Apocalypse kind of looks like garbage. Like, you sure you want to like take over this place and turn it into your homeland of fire and death and rock? Like,
It's pretty much rock, metal, and lava. That's
is
Apocalypse.
this is good for you? Like, there's not so much as a Chick-fil-A. Like, really, you need something. Come on now. This is of any movie of this type. Whenever they're like, we're going to turn this into the dark world. Why? Just keep it as is. Just, maybe take over the people. Keep some of the good and the good, like, combine a bit. I never understood that, why you want to turn things into barren fire planets.
It's what we like. It's an aesthetic choice.
It is an aesthetic choice. As is the aesthetic choice of these tentacles going through the ground. And
that's a little weird.
It's a little weird. It reminded me a
didn't
bit
like
of
it.
Breath of the Wild, because in Breath of the Wild you have a lot of those the Guardian.
Now we know
tentacles
why
in the
Mike didn't
woods.
like it.
I never got that far.
I spent the entire movie, well, that part of the movie going, what do these tentacles remind me of? They remind me of something in a game. And then just now I remember it's Breath of the Wild, the Guardian and the tentacles from the center tower there. So Ganon's evil tentacles. So
No,
that's where that came up for me. But anyway, it's fine. It's okay. And they fight some bugs and yeah, it's just such a nondescript blah ending. And then Superman shows up and he's OP.
Man, I will always be a sucker for the big hero coming back in the third act. And that bit of, hold on, I actually have the line somewhere. Steppenwolf is kicking everyone's ass and he says, "You're all too weak to see the truth." And then he goes to punch Batman and you hear Superman go, "Well?" And everyone just stops. And I'm like, it's him. I am one of those basic bitches that loves Superman, even though he's a Mary Sue and whatever. But yeah, that bit of, I do believe in truth, but I'm also a big fan of justice. And then he proceeds to kick Steppenwolf all over the place.
And then there's no more the movie's game. The game is basically over, because I was looking at the movie going, oh, this is so video gamey. This is like late PS2, early PS3 video gaming. Like, this is not like even modern. Yeah,
I don't like how overpowered he is either in this, like Superman, because once soon they resurrect him, now Superman's there, like the fight's over.
That's basically it, and that's why the stakes are gone, because Superman's coming back, right? He spent some time with Lois Lane in a cornfield, so everything's forgiven.
But we need that scene, because you need to know when you come back to life, it is itchy, as he puts it.
That was stupid. That also bothered me. Because again, he's not actually dead. He never died. He wasn't. Right. He essentially just goes in a coma while his body is healing.
But he was itchy tasty.
That's what I thought of too. Yes,
100%
every time.
So the ending of it is pretty just very flat for me. Although I will say there is value to be had in the hero coming back and dispatching what at once was what looked to be unstoppable. Right. So what that does is sets up Superman as magnitude stronger than everybody else, magnitude stronger than the adversary. So he's going to come and save the day. Great. Here's your problem. It's not a Superman movie. It's a Justice League movie. They should be working together.
Superman movies right. So
yeah, they should be working together as a team to take down the enemy. Not to bring in the Hall of Fame quarterback, to throw the last minute Hail Mary and win the game, right? Like, I understand the power fantasy of that, which is valid. That's not a knock. That's, power fantasy, right? Super strong guy comes in to save the day. It's heroic, basic in a good way. Not saying like basic bitch, but like basic in a good way. And it's good. It's effective, but not in this movie. This is not a Superman movie. This is a Justice League movie. The team should have gotten together and figured out a way to take out this adversary.
It would have been way better.
You've wiped out the entire point of this movie, which is developing the team, because now you have Superman and his group of good bros. That's what this is going to be, evidently, because no one is anywhere near as strong as Superman. As a matter of fact, if they continue this nonsense into more movies, I would really like Batman to just not fight and become Alfred. Almost become like their like guy behind the computer who can do things from there and be almost like their Professor X leader style.
Like he is in Batman Beyond. He's the guy behind the guy on the chair, as they say in Spider-Man Homecoming.
Is that Batman Beyond? Which one was Batman?
One in the future where Terry McGinnis is Batman and old man Bruce Wayne is the computer dude. It's a cartoon. Cartoon series.
Okay. I don't know it then. Okay. But yeah, that I'd be interested in that. Good. Let him retire. Hang up the suit. You were no good. Clearly. I remember the scene with the bat spider, right? And they're fighting all the bugs on the bridge and everything else, and the water's coming up. He takes as long as a time to fight one bug as like Wonder Woman takes to take out 80. Like, he sucks.
Until he just takes one of their guns and starts shooting people.
Right. And
like Batman does. That's Batman.
That is
guy
Batman,
with the
right?
gun shooting people.
That's it. Stand there and shoot. Just hold L, and that way you plant in place, and then you right control stick to take out the bugs in a turn section. Yeah, that's exactly how that works. Stupid. Don't know what to do with these people. Not good. Not
And
good.
also, like, the whole Superman thing, when he, like, it could have been when he met Steppenwolf, they could have just reenacted the scene from the cartoon when he meets Darkseid, and then it would have been cool. Like, none of it was earned. Like, I want to hear him walk up and go, I'm always holding back, but with you, tough guy, you can handle it.
I feel like I live in a world of cardboard. I fucking love that scene.
Yeah, I was just watching that scene, and I'm just like, why couldn't they have done something? I mean, I know it's not Darkseid, but still, they could have done something awesome like that when he came back. But again, like what Bill was saying, that it should have been something with the Justice League as a team, not just, we got Superman, so we win.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like Bill
that's
said,
the biggest problem. Right.
They have 6 characters. They don't know what to do with them.
No clue.
It's like, that's what makes me worried about the Snyder Cut, is even if it's 4 hours, they're still trying to cram so many partial stories into this movie. Like, I still don't think it's going to help.
Oh,
I don't think so either. No.
Another thing that I want to reference, comment about, there's a really dumb line also in this when Superman comes back, he goes, "Do you bleed?" Which is a reference to BVS, because he says that.
Because Batman says it to him.
I cringed. I'm just like, fucking, like, it was a dumb thing. It didn't need to be in this movie too.
Yeah, I know that line without even seeing the movie, and so I kind of had that same feeling, like, oh, okay, really? Call back, I guess. Great.
So I know you didn't bring me back because you like me. I don't not.
That was also dumb.
What?
Yeah, I know.
And, like,
I know. It's
the whole idea in this movie too, like with the end fight, is that Batman just wants to kill himself. Like his whole plan. Okay, I'm gonna play Buzzer, drive in here, get all the Paramore demons or parademons, not Paramore, to follow me, and I'm gonna die. And then like he just wants to die in this movie constantly.
He says after they resurrect Superman that Wonder Woman says that he could have killed you, and Batman says he was willing to make that trade because he knows that Superman's the only one that can do this.
Right, and yes, and he's willing to make that, which I think is good. That's fine, perfectly fine. With that whole bug thing, as he's driving along, blasting boops and beeps,
the
alarm. His alarm out of the speakers to draw to him. I did take it as all right, this is gonna be a diversion. As long as I can diverge him they're gonna eat me alive, and then hopefully by then Superman comes back because the script says so, and there's no reason for him not to be back. Hopefully he's done with Lois in the cornfield, because you gotta have that. And how misused. And I don't know, was she a bigger deal? She must have been a bigger deal in Batman versus Superman. Amy Adams.
More
excellent actress. Yeah. Excellent actress. Just wooden and dull as Lois.
Golly. I would imagine that's more stuff that was cut.
I guess. Just direct actors not being directed. I mean, she's a very good actress, and it stinks to see when good actors are just kind of these bad roles that are just floundering. It's a floundering. She was actually a device. All she's there to do is to stop Superman from going crazy. That's it.
Yeah, this whole movie is Deus Ex Machina the movie. Because she snaps Superman out of it. Aquaman shows up to stop the Gotham Harbor from flooding everybody. Superman shows up to win the day. Like, everyone is there when they need to be there.
Screenwriting is not just piecing together a puzzle. You need to do more than that. You have to have more. Can't just plug things in to fit your plot. You're like, okay, so I guess he can like pull out this water thing so the water fills up, and then he can stop the water because he's Aquaman. And
yeah. This round piece will fit into that missing round piece over there. Perfect.
That's right.
You don't need anything in between those two pieces.
No, it doesn't matter that it's a different color from a different puzzle set. It's fine. Just stick it in there. It's good. It's a picture. It's complete. It's together. It doesn't matter if it looks good. It's just complete. Fuck this movie.
Yep. That's how I felt. I watched an hour of this, and I'm like, oh, God, I just want to go to bed. I don't want to watch this anymore. Then I went and did stuff, and I went and watched another half an hour, and I'm like, I'm done. I'll finish this tomorrow. And I haven't been like that in one of the movies that we covered this show, except for one particular movie you made us watch, Bill. That made me not want to watch.
Yeah, I was definitely with you on that one.
Hey, listen. That was not a pitch either of you could hit. I'm sorry, but I still had to throw it.
No, it's fine. It's fine. People have listened to that episode. People have liked it, so I'm okay with it.
People listen to it.
That's all that matters.
Yeah. Another big question mark at the end of this movie when they reverse the Unity and then like all this alien wild or the fauna starts spreading over, or flora, my bad. Yeah. The weird plants and shit. Like, where did that come from? What the fuck is that going to do to Earth's ecosystem? Is this shit toxic?
What is it? Yeah, and the final shot of that is the little girl that we've spent. There is a cute little moment, by the way, not to go too far back, of when they're like boarding up the house, doing nothing and hiding under the table. She pulls out a can of bug spray.
Yeah.
It's really cute. I like that. It's like,
I said to my wife, I'm like, that's really cute. It's really stupid, but it's really cute.
Super sweet. I like it. I was into it. But yeah, then she goes and picks up that, looks at the flower. I'm like, yeah. Do you know if that could be poisonous? Your whole face could turn into Cyborg. We don't know. Like your whole night, all of a sudden, that little rural part of Russia is just filled with Cyborg people because they are all eating the flower. I did shout, and I was trying not to shout because both my kids sleep, relatively close to where we watch TV. And I was like, what? Why did that happen? What's with the flowers? And I look at my wife. She shakes her head. She's like, just shook her head. There's a lot of head shaking and eye groaning from this one. So yeah.
She's probably wondering why we're watching this garbage too. So I think we almost covered almost everything in this movie I want to mention.
J.K. Simmons and his hairpiece are Commissioner Gordon.
You didn't need Commissioner Gordon in this movie either, because I remember I don't think he's in BVS. I can't remember if J.K. Simmons.
That was confusing me too, because Commissioner Gordon's in Gotham City. This movie is set in Metropolis.
Yeah,
and
they even say that Batman's in Metropolis at one point.
Yeah, so why is he going back to Gotham? Is he, like you said,
because
is he taking the Acela there from
where? So people are being abducted by the parademons between the two cities, and apparently the convergence is somewhere in Gotham Harbor.
Oh, and he wasn't in BVS either, by the way. He was only in this movie, so they got him just to do this movie for that couple part.
Yeah, like you do.
As you do.
And gave him a hairpiece, and it looks bad. So
who played? That was J.K. Simmons. That's right.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
The immortal. Well, not immortal, but the awesome J.K. Simmons. Yeah, weird. It made no sense because that was messing with my continuity. Like, where do I live? Where are we? So
you're in the DCEU where nothing makes sense.
I guess so. Or I guess you can travel from Chicago to New York in 5 seconds. I guess that's the thing we can do now.
Oh my God! Are we bringing back an old running show?
Hey, it's not that he traveled in 5 seconds; that he had no money. And he put his hand out. Somebody put a quarter in his hand, and he ended up from Guatemala to America.
That's it.
Oh man, we haven't crossed that bridge in a long time.
We have not crossed that bridge. Oh, that's funny.
That's good shit.
I'm okay with this because he's a millionaire. He has the money. He can get there. He has vehicles. It's not like he's a guy begging for money in Guatemala. Okay.
It's his superpower. He's rich.
I actually like that line. Me too. I like that a lot. I'm rich. That actually is very Batman. That's it.
As much as I've crapped over a lot of the stupid forced humor in a lot of these MCU movies lately, all the jokes in this landed for me. I don't know why.
I would say 50-50 for me. Like 50-50. They did for either just kind of like groaners, or I actually had a couple good chuckles. Anything that comes out of Flash's mouth is pretty annoying.
Yeah, he's where they're like, okay, Josh, we're going to let you write 2 characters. He's like, I want to write Flash and Aquaman. And like all of his dialogue went into those 2 characters.
Yeah, and it's really just an obnoxious character, which is a shame. I hate bagging on actors, but boy, that portrayal isn't great. Again, we not to go back into Flash, but yeah, we've already established he's not great. So, but yeah, so I think is that it?
We got
talk about the dumb endings where each character has their own little moment of happiness at the end of this movie.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, it's fine.
Oh, like Barry gets a job, random house. The family is safe because you got to make sure that that's what I put in my notes. Lois can write again. Woo! Yep. Remember, she couldn't write after her boyfriend died.
Yeah, that's hard.
She's writing about
Cyborg with his dad. Okay, whenever I see that actor that plays Cyborg's dad in this movie, I can't remember his name. I'm a big fan of this actor because he was in Scandal. He was in Eureka. That guy can play amazing villain though when they gets the role.
Yeah, because he did that in Smallville.
Yes, for a little bit.
He's a little crazy in that one. I have it somewhere in my notes. It's Joe Morton.
Yeah, I really wish
also in Speed.
I really wish he'd come to a convention because I really want to meet him because he's a really cool actor.
Yeah, he's great. I was real happy to see him. I love him in Eureka.
That's great. Have you watched Eureka too?
Oh yeah, that's good stuff.
I'm going to stop myself from where I'm about to go. But yeah, so I mean, I understand. We have a little moment, but also you have like a big moment that's definitely going to pay off in future movies.
Yeah, I had the same thought.
Where they go to the hall, what essentially is going to become the hall adjuster. We're going to get a table here and have 6 chairs, and she's like, and
room for more. And I'm like, oh, that's so cute. They thought they were getting a sequel.
I like in your notes here, Mike, that you share with us. It says Bruce and Wonder Woman pick out a table.
Yeah,
if you read that out of context, you would think they're like like Pier 1, which doesn't exist anymore, but like a home furnishing store. Like, I think this is gonna be enough for 6 people. I think we can get 6 comfortably. Aquaman's kind of big. It's true. We want to get the deluxe size that fits 8, and that's really funny. Pick out a table. Yeah, and then was it Aquaman? You said AC swims. Is that Aquaman?
Arthur Curry.
I was taking too much notes right Aquaman, so I just put AC Arthur.
So yeah, because Aquaman just swims away because that's all he knows how to do. He just
that was all dumb.
He just swims. Bye, and just goes.
My movie's next.
Yeah. And then you have Batman gets the signal. They turn the signal on. That's how the movie. And then Superman just rips his coat open and flies off somewhere for no reason at all.
Oh, that's what Superman does.
My wife groaned so hard she just went.
We didn't talk about this is way in the beginning of the movie, but we completely forgot to mention the whole like when they introduced Wonder Woman when she's stopping the robbery and they're like terrorists and it's a cool looking scene, but it doesn't need to be in the movie.
It's because they didn't give her enough to do, so they gave her a new scene. It's very cool though.
Yeah,
she just like bursting through those doors and they're reduced to splinters. Like, that's so
best thing in the DC universe is just her in the DC animated universe.
True.
Yeah,
not animated, but live
yeah,
action.
I agree. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
There's a lot of male gaze when it comes to her though. Like every time she's on screen, she's in either that Wonder Woman costume or leather pants, and they're always shot from behind.
Yeah,
there are a lot of long shots of her butt. Yes, my
wife actually said there's that one scene where she goes to meet Cyborg, and she goes, "That's a lot of leather." They unfortunately these movies do have a core demographic still.
Yeah,
and,
she's like,
what it is.
My wife's like, who worked on this? I'm like, Joss Whedon. She's like, oh,
yeah.
That would be it.
Low angle shots of leather clad buttocks. Yes, lots of that going on. So
she's talking about all the cod pieces on the guys. I'm like, well, you gotta give someone for the women.
Sure, absolutely.
Also, another complaint was like when this movie came out is that the Amazons in this movie have a lot less armor on than they did in the Wonder Woman movie that came out 2 months before this, because one was directed by a woman, one was directed.
And I was thinking, I noticed it in the periphery. I was kind of thinking like, well, the costume doesn't look right. It just didn't click with me. Okay, that makes perfect sense. Okay.
So that's what
not good sense, but perfect sense.
In case you were curious.
Yeah, that's actually interesting. But yeah, so then what I did, I've never done this with one of these movies, by the way. Anyway, we've been through how many movies now? A lot. I as soon as movie over, I picked up the remote, boop, off, right? Just like, okay, boom. And then I went, shit, I gotta watch the mid-credit scenes. And
there's two of them. Yeah.
There's YouTube.
I went down to YouTube. I went to YouTube and I watched the same. And the first mid-credit scene is Flash versus Superman have a race.
Yeah, it's cute.
Yeah, nice little back and forth, a little banter.
Get a brunch callback because Flash doesn't understand brunch earlier in the movie.
Which was such a... Wow. Yeah. Oh, my God. That was painful. That was actually that was one of his first lines.
Like my wife's like, does he have ADHD? I'm like, well, he's got super speed, so that kind of fit, I guess.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, it's good. It's fun. Yeah.
But no, he doesn't.
No, and so they have a race, and that's fine. And then you have Lex Luthor on his boat.
God, this is dumb.
Now, this is pretty stupid. Now, who is the character that's in the cell?
No one.
No one. So that's not a thing, right?
Nope. So it's just someone that looks like Lex from behind.
Right,
yes,
because
what they took is a scene from other things. Is supposed to be that whenever Joker escapes, he always has someone else in his place, and that's kind of what it was a reference to. I took it as because they even say, "Hey, Joker, hey, you're not Joker, but hey, joke something about quit joking around." They say something about Joker, and that's essentially what it was. Is it was the whole Joker always puts someone else in. Lex Luthor doesn't. Yeah, that's what it was a reference to. Though,
so it was just like random crazy face.
Because it's in Arkham Asylum, so it's just another
right.
Also, Lex Luthor never would have been taken Arkham. So. Yeah.
Right. That's the other side of it too, because Arkham is not a penitentiary; it's an insane asylum. I thought because again, I've played all the Batman games. Because I thought I knew nothing about DC, but I'm like, oh no, I've played all the games. There's a character, like a crazy character. Is it Zaz?
Zaz.
I thought, is that Zaz? He's the guy who cuts himself, right?
Yeah.
Like, maybe that's Zaz. What's that?
One for each kill.
Right, he cuts himself once for each kill, but evidently not. So they weren't even cool enough to put in like a periphery character like that in. There's some crazy face. Excellent. Go to a boat. Lex Luthor's on the boat. Played by, what's that character?
Jesse Eisenberg.
Jesse Eisenberg. I like him. I do. People bag on him. I am still kind of a fan of him.
A fine actor. I don't think he's a good fit for Lex Luthor.
Not at all.
I don't really have a good frame of reference. So who was Lex Luthor in like not the modern quote unquote DCU, but like the old, like wasn't it like Kevin Spacey?
Kevin Spacey
played him in Superman Returns, and then Gene Hackman in the original.
Gene Hackman. Well, come on.
Clancy Brown voiced him in all the cartoons and did an awesome job. He's just like a ruthless businessman. He's not He's not Jesse Eisenberg.
Oh, I mean, you don't really get him. You get a lot of that in BVS.
Yeah,
but a lot of it's also cut out too in BVS.
God, I'm gonna end up watching that today. I think.
Man, you have nothing better to do?
Like no, not really.
Okay.
How long is it? Because I do have it. I own it.
2.5 hours.
God,
unless you watch the extended cut. Mike said it was 3.
No. I'll either do some housework or play Fallout New Vegas. I will not.
And for what I understand is that what I remember, the original cut out stuff that doesn't make any sense because they cut out. You actually should watch the 3-hour version because that actually explains like everything he does to create Doomsday. None of it's explained because they cut out all that. They cut out a bunch of the information of why it happened. They went cutty, and it's bad for it.
There are 1,000 things I'd rather spend 3.5 hours doing than watch 3.5 hours of that. That's not.
No, I don't recommend watching BVS. I mean,
unless you're weird. But yeah, he's talking to Deathstroke, who actually looks kind of awesome. He looks like he's supposed to.
He's in the Snyder Cut. He came back for more filming.
Oh, nice.
Because he was upset that he got casted for this role and everything, and then that's the only thing he did because that movie's not happening anymore.
He's like, they're forming some kind of team. Shouldn't we have a league of our own? And then
why did he say that?
And
what
then
is that?
Tom Hanks comes in and tells him there's no crying in baseball and all that good stuff.
Rosie O'Donnell is just
exactly. Yeah.
What was that a reference to? Because of course they
Legion of Doom is the villain equivalent to the Justice League.
The Legion of Doom.
Yep.
I remember that back when I was a kid. They were the wrestling tag team with the shoulder pads.
Oh, not them. No.
Not those guys?
Right. Not that one.
Not that
named from it, I'm sure, but yeah.
I'm kidding, of course. I don't know. Great team of super bad guys. So and Deathstroke is the guy who's on the boat.
Yes.
What is he?
Also, the first appearance of Legion of Doom is the Super Friends episode 1.
Nice.
They weren't even around in the comics. They were in the cartoon. That's where the Legion of Doom is from.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Wow. And is Deathstroke
is Deathstroke a good person?
Yeah, he's in Arkham Origins. If you played that,
which apparently he did not.
I did not. No, I did not. I did not play Arkham Origins.
I think he's probably best known for the Teen Titans cartoon. He's the main villain in that.
Yes, none of that either. I've only played the main 3 Arkham games, and then I didn't play Origins. I heard mixed things about it, so I kind of.
Origins is a good game.
Yeah, it's not great.
Okay.
I like it.
We could make that happen for you, Bill.
Yeah, you can make that happen, huh? So, let's see.
It's already coming. It hasn't been officially put on schedule, but it's coming next time we raid the season.
I haven't played this. I'd be down. I like the Batman game, so I'd be into that.
We already got you for one next season.
Which one?
The game.
Oh, the thing that we can't talk about because you don't announce things in advance. Okay, sure. Yeah.
I like to be secretive. It's fun. It's fun for me.
I dig that. I'm all about that. So, but that's basically it, right? And then on Mike, on your notes, it just says "boo."
Yeah, I finished this movie and I wasn't upset like Guardians of the Galaxy 2, but I just wasn't amused. I was just like, this wasn't good, and it upsets me because I really like these characters. This could have been a really good film, and it just isn't.
So we didn't talk at the top of the episode like we normally do because the host was doing a bad job. I know Bill and I just saw this for the first time. Did you see this in theaters?
No, I missed it in theaters, but I rented it or somehow I watched it on DVD. Either I think I own it on DVD. Somehow I know I watched it a few months after it came out.
Gotcha.
But I missed it in theaters because either I was working a lot at the time or Tiff just would not go see this with me because she hated BVS. I don't know which one.
I saw that note and I'm just thinking, was this Mike's reaction in theaters? Did he just boo at the end of it?
BVS was the one I left upset. Like I literally left upset that I gave up 2.5 hours to watch this shitty movie and that it was shitty. I was very yeah.
Hey, that's how I left Green Lantern.
Man, it's on HBO Max. I was tempted.
I own it. I don't know why. It's not good. Anyway,
Anyway, cool.
Next DC movie I'm decreeing is going to be one of the animated ones that we do because they are phenomenally better than all of these.
At least me and you are. We're going to do that combo thing at some point.
Oh, yeah. The thing. The thing, you know.
The thing, yeah, the thing that the guys.
With the guy, the
sure.
stuff.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
I want to do in the comic.
Cool.
Yep.
All right, shall we close out our adventure?
And
I think we should shelf our box this thing, or as I was going to do for the sake of the parallel world bit, what I call it, pit or pedestal.
Ooh, I love that. Let's go. Okay.
I'll start because I think I'm going to be the only bit of positive in this.
Okay.
I absolutely will watch this again. I don't know what it is that I found so fascinating, but I watched it Thursday night, and then I was like, I kind of like that. So I had my wife watch it last night, and she kind of liked it too. So it's not good, as we've talked about, for the length of this episode, but there's something about it that I think I'm going to come back to at some point. So I'm going to put it on a pedestal for some reason.
All right. Hey.
I got nothing.
Come on, Mike.
You don't like Thor Ragnarok? No, spoiler. But, and yet you like this movie?
Mm-hmm. Correct.
Okay. Hey, listen, you know what? Opinions are sometimes wrong. But
Wow.
I'm just teasing.
I'm glad that you found enjoyment in this movie. I do want to say I'm surprised. I am really surprised.
Yes. I'm glad that I did, because this was all my idea, so it's good that I could get through this without suffering. I kind of feel vindicated because I got revenge on Bill for making us watch Sin City.
This is pretty good revenge. This is yeah.
Give us your take, Bill. Where are you putting this?
This isn't a very sad pit, and my energy walking away from this. When I walked away from that, turned it off. God, I forgot about the end sequence. Looked at those on YouTube, and then I said, I need to get the taste of this out of my mouth. So then I proceeded to watch the season finale of season 4 of Breaking Bad, because I am finally watching that series to completion. It's the first time I have. I know it's old, and that is glorious and wonderful writing, wonderful action, beautiful tension. It's great. It's like, thank God I'm watching season 4 of Breaking Bad, because I do not want to go to bed this in my brain. This is a sad movie to me. And it's sad because, like you said, Mike, this has good pieces in it. Like, the pieces are there. Like, there's stuff here that's salvageable. But this is the product of studio meddling, of focus group, and of everything that a corporation can do to ruin art. That's what this is. Now, whether or not you dig Zack Snyder as a director, I do not. I don't like his style. I don't like his focus on action over characters and the things that I value as a filmgoer. But a lot of that is, and there's a lot of stuff that's just bad, but this is just a mess. And it's a mess that didn't quite have to be if the governing bodies allowed these filmmakers to just make the damn movie. Just make the movies you wanted to make without going in there and focus grouping and demanding it's 120 minutes on the dot, all the nonsense that clearly happened with this. I think the Snyder Cut will be interesting, honestly. I'm interested to see what that true vision is. So I think it'd be worth a watch. Like I said, Patreon stretch goal. Hook a brother up with it. I'll take a bootleg. It's fine. It's okay. But
the best part about that joke is we don't have a Patreon.
Yeah,
I know. But I'm saying, hey, listen,
I might change that though.
Hey, listen, you gave me a timer on my podcast. I'm now giving you a timer on your Patreon. So there we go.
I might have to go do it now.
So anyway, yeah, this is in the pit though. This is a movie that I'm going to instantly forget tomorrow. And it's a shame because, again, there's pieces and parts here that I think are good. I'm glad, Michael, that you mined some joy out of this, because this would have been a horrendous slog of an episode if we were all just sitting here pissing on it. So
yeah. I got to feel what it's like to be Mike by hosting and then being the only person that champions an otherwise terrible movie, like Iron Man 3.
Yeah.
That actually reminds me. I got some good. I actually got a good question for when we do. Yeah.
Okay.
Say something.
What's your final ranking on this, Mike? I gotta guess.
This is pedestal. I mean, what the hell was I saying? This is pit. This going to the fucking pit is. It's not a bad. Okay, it's not a good movie. It's not a terrible movie. We watch worse on this podcast. I'm pretty sure.
Oh yeah.
Sin City, I enjoyed less, but also Sin City was I got to check off a box I always wanted to check, and now it's checked. I never need to watch it again. So I'm happy we did Sin City. This was a box I already checked. I didn't want to check it again. Now there's 2 checks in that box, and that was okay. it could have been so much better, and it's kind of stupid. Like, I wasn't amused, I wasn't entertained. I was just like, okay, here we go. Is this movie over yet? And that's never a good sign. I mean, we've watched some really good movies lately, and this just, I don't enjoy it, and it upsets me that there isn't more. And all I want to do now is watch Justice League War, to watch a good Justice League origin movie.
Or just the Justice League cartoon.
Okay, that's good too. I'm just going to the pit, and I don't need to see it again. And I don't need to see the other DC movies before this. After this, Wonder Woman, and after, I'm okay with it. The first two, they can stay.
So should we pencil in next to April for Batman vs Superman?
I mean, if we haven't seen it by then, I mean, we can. It could be our April Fools every year. We watch another DC
movie.
I'm a good soldier. I'll just grin and bear it.
We'll just work backwards like the DCEU tried to do.
Yeah, basically.
Because BVS is actually supposed to be Man of Steel too. It was not supposed to be a Bat movie. It later became a Batman movie. That's why it's partly a Superman movie, partly a Batman movie, and all bad.
That's weird. Save it for the episode.
It'll be a year. It's okay. It'll be a long time to hear this comment.
Good stuff.
Indeed.
And I'm not prepared to do the outro, Mike, so take it away.
Why? You don't have it written down that I sent you?
I totally forgot I was supposed to do it. I'm like,
it's not written down. That's the joke.
I'm aware of that.
So I want to thank you guys for listening to our April Fools episode. That we're the fools apparently in this one that did this movie. So definitely go. Hope you enjoyed this. We do other movies. We mainly go through the MCU movies. We don't do the DC movies, but we might just because we're crazy.
No,
I don't want to. So probably not going to happen. So definitely go check out our MCU films. Also, we've done a bunch of other films. They all have numbers now, so you can kind of tell what order they are. It doesn't really make a difference because I don't. Yeah, I've done. If you need more DC stuff, we've done a bunch of Batman comics. We've done Superman comics.
We did Arkham Asylum in November.
Episode 98 or so, I think it is, or it's in the 90s. We'll look it up.
And City is out by now. Isn't that in March?
It's coming up when we record it, but I don't know when it will actually be out, but it's coming. So if Arkham City isn't out, look for that. That's coming. I can't remember what the hell we're playing. I know we got, with our way that we do the schedule. I don't pay that attention ahead of. Yeah, Arkham City into March. So we would record
City, it will be out just after this comes out. So look forward to that. It should be at least announced by then.
It'll be announced, yeah. Because it doesn't come out till the 4th. Remember, it's always a week ahead.
Yep.
Yeah, that's all I got. Go check out other episodes. If you enjoyed this show, go follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. I'm almost at 100 subscribers. I better be by the time you hear this. Hopefully, I'm 4 away. So come on. If not, subscribe anyway. I need more subscribers.
Give a shout out to our intro and outro from Bobby, a.k.a. Mike Stoney, from his EP Bite the Bullet. Song is Cool Kid Squad. Got a link in the details. Whatever.
Show notes, sir.
Pretty close. Pretty close.
Close enough.
It's fine. That's all I got. We will see you guys next time. Hopefully not covering BVS at some point. Hopefully not.
Bye, everybody.
Matt.